welcome to another episode of the Gauntlet Podcast. My name is Jason.
This is Ferrell.
My name is Dan.
Cool. So I'm taking a look at the games that we've been playing here on our little list, and it appears that all three of us have played Black Star's Rise and Sea-Dracula, so I think we'll probably talk about those specifically. But why don't we go ahead and just talk about the differences in our lists. So, Ferrell, apart from Black Star's Rise and Sea-Dracula, what have you been up to?
Unfortunately, just because of the season, it's Lent, and so I've been missing out on a lot of the Gauntlet events. I did have...
Did you give up gaming for Lent?
No, I did not. I gave up Hubris, actually. Gets into a little theology on that, but if people are interested, I can talk about it, but pretty much no one wants to hear about it, I think.
Let's not. That is very interesting. Maybe off the cast we'll talk about that. Okay, cool. Well, so what have you been, so nothing, or is there anything?
I did run a session of Dungeon World, just a quick little off the cuff thing, just continuing my DM training, as I call it. I really like Dungeon World. It's something that I can easily slip into. I don't feel terribly nervous trying to run it. And we've covered Dungeon World plenty of times on the podcast, though it may get its own episode later. But I really enjoyed it. If anyone's curious about DMing, try Dungeon World.
Yeah, Dungeon World's great. On the bonus episode, we talk about Dungeon World a fair amount. And so people should definitely go check that out, because I think we do a good job of kind of expressing our love for Dungeon World. And we've never really done a good, like, mechanical exploration of Dungeon World, but maybe that's for the future. I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Maybe. I don't know.
We've got enough old school players that probably sitting down and talking about why we like Dungeon World a lot better than 3.5, Second Ed, etc. probably would be a topic on its own.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, well, is there anything else on your list?
Nope, just Sea-Dracula and Black Star's Rise. So.
Cool. Dan, what have you been playing?
So the only thing besides those two I played was A Penny for My Thoughts, which is by Paul Tevis. And it's kind of one of the older story games, and we've played other games. You can sort of see the influence of this one. The general idea is that everyone is patients who all have amnesia, and you're on some sort of drug that lets you pick up each other's memories. And so you're sort of telling a story, and you get like these memory triggers that everyone writes down in the beginning, which are like sensory experiences kind of that would remind you of a memory in your past, right? And so you get one of those, and then you start going into the scene about like what that reminds you of, and you'll get to a point where you can't remember anything that you did, so you can describe everything in the scene except what you actually did. So whenever you get to a decision point where you would have had to make a decision, you say, well, what did I say or do then? And then you ask two other players for possible things you may have done. And so you take whichever suggestion you like the best, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what I did. And then you go from there and like continue the story. So
it sounds a little bit like Cheat Your Own Adventure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And while we were playing, I was just continuously going like, if you did this, before I stopped myself, because you're supposed to be going like, you did this, right?
Right.
Because you're not doing a choose your own adventure novel.
It's not the second person, like
exactly,
Cheat Your Own Adventure.
But I kept phrasing it wrong, like the entire game, because I was like slipping into Cheat Your Own Adventure mode. But yeah, pretty good in general. Like, it's kind of easy to get way off the rails, because there's a section when you're setting up each memory where you're like, well, I remember this. And then someone will ask you a question, and you have to say yes to whatever they ask you. And so you can't actually say no if they say something that doesn't jive with like what you wanted your story to kind of be about tone-wise.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So the tone conversation comes in very big on this and can get easily derailed, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have no way to say no. So like my story started off as kind of a like very small scale, like family drama. And then at the end, my memory trigger was a helicopter taking off or something. And then the questions were like, was it a stolen helicopter? And I was like,
right.
Yes, it was.
I guess it was a stolen helicopter.
Were you on drugs? Oh, yes, I guess I was. So then I had a like drug fueled chase from the police at the end of my touching family drama. So
that's how all my family vacations end.
Yeah. So, it can go off the rails, but in general, I thought it was pretty great. So.
Okay, cool. I've never played it. I can't help but notice that amnesia seems to be something of a theme in a lot of story games. What's that all about? Like, is it just happenstance that we've played a lot where the characters have amnesia? Or
amnesia is just one of those cliches that it's a very easy solution to the idea of how can I avoid making up a backstory that maybe no one will like.
Well, I think that a lot of times the reason why they're using amnesia is because it's the most easy justification for exploring the characters' backstories and you not knowing what it is as a player, right? I'm kind of, well, so the reason why I bring that up is because, we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but we did that thing where we made up our own game based off of the movie Bad Education. That rule set that we made involved characters who are possibly being duplicitous, right? But we don't know yet, right? We're going to discover it organically in the story, like what their true story is. But we didn't have a good, fictional justification for why that is the case. Amnesia is an easy one, right?
Right, yeah.
It's easy to say, oh, well, the characters have amnesia. That's why we don't know what their backstory is. But in our game, we didn't have a good one. We just as players did not know. We just didn't know what their backstories were. And so it might be a little unsatisfying. I wonder if there's another way you can, I wonder if there's a way you can make that satisfying without having to rely on the crutch of amnesia. Just a thought. That's all.
Yeah, there's always, they're trying to date each other, and so they got to tell each other about their lives.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess, no, I mean, what I'm saying is just why do the players not know anything about the character? Why are we discovering?
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How come the characters, the reason why the amnesia thing works is because the characters don't know their backstory either, right? We don't know and they don't know. So,
right.
Yeah.
And so then it makes sense if all of a sudden it's this would have been really out of character for this guy, but we didn't know that until now. So, yeah.
Cool. And then I gather, apart from that, it was, Black Stars Rise and Sea-Dracula, correct?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, so the only other game that, I played besides those two is, The Final Girl. I have gone on at some length about my appreciation for The Final Girl. I think most of our listeners know that. They also have expressed frustration about the fact that you can no longer acquire The Final Girl, anywhere anymore, because Brett Gillen, famously hates money. But there's not much to say about it. The Final Girl's great. It was maybe not my favorite session ever because it was a sci-fi thing, and I don't like The Final Girl in sci-fi. I just don't. I'm gonna throw it out there. I like The Final Girl. I like TNA. I like dumb teenagers. I like slashers, cutting people up, like Camp Crystal Lake, Freddy Krueger. That's what I like. Sci-fi horror is not the same to me. So,
well, sci-fi horror just takes a different tone, honestly. Sci-fi horror always seems to be a bit more tense, a bit more things hiding in the shadows. Final Girl really shines when you get into that cheesy 80s.
Camp, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. The reason why I don't like sci-fi Final Girl, why it doesn't ring for me, is for that exact reason, Ferrell. You are correct. It's hard to stay believable when the sci-fi story you're doing is you can't have camp characters in a sci-fi setting. That's hard to do, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a sci-fi guy though, so maybe I'm wrong here. I don't know. But
isn't Doctor Who essentially just camp sci-fi?
But it's not horror though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's fair.
If you think about all the horror sci-fi, Alien.
Right. I mean, Event Horizon.
Right. Yeah. Although Alien 2 is pretty campy, if I'm being honest, but there's some fans of Alien 2 who disagree with that, but or Aliens. Sorry, not Alien 2. That's a damn campy movie. It really is. but also not really a horror movie, in my opinion. Kind of more of an action movie.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So it's just the intersection of sci-fi, horror, and camp that doesn't work.
Right. It doesn't work. Yeah. And that's why I don't, whenever someone suggests, oh, let's do on a space station for Final Girl, I'm always like, that's not really, yeah. But I go with it. I'm not going to be a party pooper.
Critters, sci-fi, camp, horror.
Yeah, but it's modern. It's down on
you
Earth,
are on Earth,
though. Yeah, you're on Earth. Yeah. So, all right, cool.
Critters 2.
Was that at a space station?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
I'm not entirely sure.
I don't think I knew there was a Critters 2, but I have to check that out now. Cool. Well, okay. So that leaves the other two games that all three of us played. I'd like to start with Black Stars Rise, if that's okay. So Black Stars Rise is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. I think it's by Sage Latora and Adam Koebel, right? They both did it.
That's what I've been told. I don't really know anything about it myself.
I believe that's the case. Yeah. They're the authors of Dungeon World for people who don't realize or know. And it is a game that does not feel finished. I think they're pretty open about that it's not actually a finished product.
Right.
I have what I believe to be, we used what I believe is the most recent playtest version, and it was a little hard, if I'm being honest. They hand wave a lot and make a lot of assumptions about what you know about the setting, what you know about the rule set, about Apocalypse World and how to run those games. And I do know how to run those games, but nevertheless, I found the game's sort of incompleteness to be something, it was somewhat difficult to work with. I like where they're kind of going with it, I think. What'd you guys think? Just your overall impressions, overall big picture impressions.
Overall big picture, the game itself, it was fun. It does need some polishing, I think.
Oh, we should say it is their, sort of Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos game. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry. Yeah.
I think the comparison we were always drawing with it was Cthulhu Dark was the other one that was kind of like it as well.
Well, I mean, we had recently played Cthulhu Dark, which is why I think that came up. But I mean, it's the easy comparisons are Call of Cthulhu, any kind of Cthulhu-based game.
Like, they name check X-Files in their little blurb.
Oh, true.
So.
Yeah, they do. That's a good point. Yeah. Well, so the idea I gather from the blurb is you're supposed to be people who are in a town or in a place where there are all these strange supernatural things happening, and you're supposed to just be normal people who no one's coming to save you, like no one's coming to help you. You're going to have to, like they say in the blurb, like Mulder and Scully don't show up this time, right?
Right.
But the thing about it, though, is I felt like the playbooks themselves, they were all very competent characters. They didn't really like read as like Joe Citizen, like coping with this, with the supernatural drama.
Yeah. The playbook I was playing was basically the police officer, and story-wise, I pretty much had to handicap him to being this complete fuck-up who just got shoved into this because he's the local deputy and the sheriff's way too busy / involved to get involved with it. But looking at the character sheet, it was one of those things where it's like, well, apparently I'm a noir detective ready to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum.
Yeah, on paper, like we'd set your character up to be he was kind of like a fuck up, but yeah, on paper he was pretty good, right? Like on paper he was really, really competent. So there's a bit of a mismatch, I guess.
I mean, I had a move where it's like, oh, I can talk to anyone and I know what crimes they've done. I'm apparently like Sherlock.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Dan, what were your thoughts on that, just as far as like the sort of mismatch between intentions and the playbooks?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely there. Like, every character had some sort of thing where it was like, I can look at a person and know this weird thing about them, like their entire medical history or a creepy secret because I worked on their car one time and things like that. Like, everyone had these weird sort of like mind-ready powers.
Like automatic information, right? Yeah. And I mean, I liked some of them. Like, some of them were kind of cool. They're things I'd never really thought of before, like that mechanic instance that you just described. Like, oh, you've worked on their car, so you know some dirty secret about them. I love this. It's a town where like people just keep their dirty laundry and their skeletons. Like, it's not their skeletons in their closet, it's their skeletons in their glove compartment, apparently. Or they could, or the librarian can like look at their library rental history or the book checkout history and see like, well, what are they up to? What are they studying? Right. What are they trying to accomplish? I thought that was kind of cool, like just conceptually. I guess the biggest issue I had with the characters didn't seem like they quite fit with what, they seemed highly, highly competent to me. Like they seemed like not infallible, but they seemed very, very tough to like challenge in a way.
And I think that's just a problem with trying to make a horror game at all. You have people who want to play a horror game. They want to get in that Cthulhu mindset, deep, dark things that are unknowable. But no one wants to play a character who can't really do shit.
Yeah.
And so you have to have these character sheets where, these people who are at least decently competent, especially since the people playing it probably wouldn't have the skills themselves. They might know about the skill, but they don't have, the training, the background, etc. And so you end up with these character sheets of these people who are hyper competent, but if someone was writing the book, these would be the characters who get killed off immediately to show everyone else this is a really serious situation and, oh, you should probably be running now.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Anyway, there was, I think in general I was pleased with how our session went, but I think it was a little bit, I wasn't really sure that the game was really kind of serving that up to us. It was kind of more just us kind of making it work, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I think that this game may have actually let me like complete my character arc on mystery games because I think I don't like them. I think that I don't think that mysteries are what I want out of a role-playing game because like when we started the game, we were going in like real deep on like our relationships, how our characters were connected to each other and all of this. And so like our characters were really fleshed out. And then the mystery started and none of that mattered. We could have been anybody.
Right, yeah. And
it would have been the same. Like at the end, I forgot that I was even a mechanic. Something came up and you were like, oh, this thing's broken. Can't you fix that? And I was like, oh yeah, I can. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm just like clue collecting bot running around.
Well, some of that might have been my fault. I mean, I may not have been using your guys' answers to those questions, like the questions that I was posing in the beginning to flesh out your characters. I suppose I could have incorporated that stuff a little bit better into the thing. But in my defense, I'll say that the game assumes that you're going to play this out over multiple sessions. And the first session is very much supposed to be like a normal Apocalypse World style session where you do ask those questions and you do like, kind of set the world up so that for session 2, the GM can go and like prep with all that stuff in mind.
Right. But even then, like, I don't know. I feel like anytime you're doing a mystery, like the story is kind of external to the characters, right? like the characters are going to the story and like engaging with it, I guess. But like the story isn't the characters. And so like the time that I was most engaged with that game was when we weren't solving the mystery and like me and Ferrell's character were just like buddies and like hanging out. And those were really good scenes, but they didn't actually advance the plot or anything. Like they were completely inconsequential, but they were what I was most into.
Yeah, and I had that. I felt that tension too, because like when I was running it, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this is all great. I'm enjoying exploring these characters. I've got to get this mystery getting under. Like this mystery's got to get underway. Yeah. Like we can't just do this for the whole session, right? And so because all we'll have done is like not seen anything supernatural and just been and explored these characters, and this is a one shot. Like we can't do it, right? Yeah. So maybe it would have been better if we just not done it. We just dispensed with all the character stuff and just gone straight to the mystery. I don't know, but then I don't think the game has.
Yeah, but then it's got nothing.
Yeah, that's what. Because then I think the game in its current state doesn't have anything to hang its hat on in that regard. So
I think one of the largest problems I have with anyone trying to recreate a mystery game is having read a lot of mystery novels, etc. Mystery novels are pretty much railroads. They put you on the little cart, and the challenge is, can I figure this out before I get to the end?
Right, yeah.
And so the perfect mystery novel in a role-playing format is pretty much you're getting railroaded, which everyone hates because you can't choose to do anything.
Well, what you're saying is in order to get the full scope of the mystery, you have to you have to be on the railroad to get the full experience.
Yeah, because the mystery is quite often this thing that's barely hanging together, and the detective only finds out about it because they're an outside force that doesn't care that, you know, everyone knows that you don't go in this room. The detective's like, screw it, I'm going to peek in the room. And that's how they find the clues that lead them to the stunning conclusion.
Yeah. Well,
and I think that mystery games in general are going to be rough because, you know, mysteries work good in other forms of media because it's not the first draft. But whenever you're playing a role-playing game, it's like the first draft of a novel or something, right?
Yeah.
So like your pacing's going to be wonky and all of that. And for like a mystery where like it's all riding on momentum, right? Like of uncovering the clues and all of that. Like it's so susceptible to like bad pacing issues and things like that that just completely derail everything. So
yeah, no, I agree. I fully agree. I mean, we've had, I'm not ready to throw in the towel on mystery games this sort of traditional sense of mystery games as we're talking about them right now, as opposed to say the emergent mystery style game like Run or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm all in for something like that.
Yeah. Or like Society of Dreamers, like setting those aside. I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet, just because we did have a great experience with Cthulhu Dark. Like I thought Cthulhu Dark was quite good, and Cthulhu Dark does have, I think what the difference was with Cthulhu Dark and this session of Black Stars Rise is, I don't know what it was about Black Stars Rise, but I felt like its mechanics, they're not fiddly, but it does have a lot more, it's definitely got more handling time than Cthulhu Dark does, right? Cthulhu Dark, you're pretty much just squarely focused on people moving through spaces and talking to people and uncovering clues and kind of really fully engaged in the conversation, I guess. The mechanics really, they're helpful, but they kind of get out of the way ultimately. Whereas I felt like with Black Stars Rise, it's a little too focused on like kind of what's going on like mechanically, which kind of bothered me a little bit. And so that's a different point than what you're making, Dan. I know that, but I guess what I'm saying is Cthulhu Dark, when I was running Cthulhu Dark, I ran that pretty extemporaneously in the sense that, I had my little like mapped out scenario that I used the there's like a little supplement for Cthulhu Dark called Dark Depths. I used that to make my scenario, but it was very, very like, it was more or less pretty extemporaneous because I knew kind of vaguely what the things were that had to happen to get people to the end, but I could kind of like just pepper them wherever, right?
Right.
And because Cthulhu Dark doesn't have many rules getting in the way, I was able to stay really, really focused on that improv aspect of running it, right?
Right.
Whereas Black Stars Rise was a little harder because in Black Stars Rise, there was so many more, there's just so many more like handling issues, right? Like you've got all the different types of moves. You've got the wounded moves. You've got to read a lot of the moves are different between players. Like the basic moves are not the same between all the players. Like once they get wounded. So that's a little weird. Right. And so there wasn't, and also the moves just weren't really helpful in the sense that unlike a lot of the other PBTA games, the moves didn't give the GM permission to like do cool things. A lot of times the moves were very specifically defined. Like this happens on a 7 to 9. A lot of times on the 7 to 9, you just got to make one choice, right? As opposed to the GM adding a complication or whatever.
Right.
And on 6-, it wasn't like just carte blanche for the GM to kind of take the story in a cool direction. You had like a real specific thing you had to do. And so my natural GMing tendencies I felt were a little stifled in Black Stars Rise.
And something else that occurred, something I like to call move lethargy. I kept finding myself looking at my sheet going, okay, how can I get my actions into the game as opposed to just going in there and playing the game and, oh, well, I can actually do something with this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's always a painful thing when you realize you've gotten to that point in a game, because at that point you're just kind of moving, you're kind of looking at it and going, okay, how can I move this along to get to the next plot point?
Yeah.
And I think that maybe it would have helped because it is like kind of weirdly crunchy, but then the playbooks are all very similar because you only have 2 moves that are unique to you. And so like my character, I was mechanic. If I wasn't actually like standing in front of something that was broken that needed to be fixed,
You might as well have been anybody.
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So for all of its like mechanical sort of intricacies with like the moves getting wounded and all of that, like I was super generic.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
So maybe that's why I was much more interested in like the only time that my character was allowed to have personality, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, so Black Stars Rise, I mean, I think there's definitely something there. I mean, I think Sage and Adam definitely have something, you know, like the way they're approaching like, you know, harm in PBTA games, the way they approach like, I think that in concept, it's pretty cool for the basic moves to have like basically an unharmed state and a wounded state, you know,
Yeah,
and
that was cool.
that was kind of cool. There's some cool stuff there. I'm just not really 100% sure that it just needs more time in the oven, I think, was pretty much what it boils down to. And I'm sure they know that too, right? Like, I don't think I get the impression that like,
that's why it's not released.
It's not released. And I got the impression they just kind of threw it up there just to see what, what would stick or whatever. So I get it. So then that just leaves Sea-Dracula. Oh man, I love Sea-Dracula. It was so fun. All right. So, Dan, do you want to set up Sea-Dracula?
I think you should set up Sea-Dracula.
Oh, I should set up Sea-Dracula. Okay.
You should, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Sea-Dracula is an American freeform game in which everyone plays an animal lawyer from Animal City. Sea-Dracula himself, the name of the game, is a giraffe lawyer. His name is Sea-Dracula. He established the legal system of Animal City. The legal system of Animal City involves always being right and proving your nonsensical theories and solving legal disputes via dance-off. That's the whole.
Right.
That's what Sea-Dracula is all about. Incredible fun. We did something kind of special with it. So what we did was, instead of having dance-offs, we decided to play this game called Johann Sebastian Joust, which is a video game, ostensibly a video game. It's really more of like a physical activity game. You have like this music playing and you have like a PlayStation Move controller and you're moving very, very slowly to the music because the music is very slow. And as the music speeds up, you can move a little faster. But the whole point, the thing you're trying to avoid is moving the controller too much because it has an accelerometer in it that will detect the speed of your movements. And so if you move it too much, you're out, right? You'll get buzzed and you'll get out. It's a competitive thing. So we did Johann Sebastian Joust instead of the dance-offs.
And so you're trying to like knock into other people and shake their hands.
Oh, of course,
yeah.
Of course,
move.
yeah. So without
that's the jousty part of it.
Without setting your own off, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we did that. I had to basically rewrite the rules for Sea-Dracula, at least the conflict resolution rules, to make it work for JS Joust. But we still stayed very much within the spirit of the game, in most respects. So yeah, that's the setup. It was really, really fun. Thoughts?
I have to say, adding Johann Sebastian Joust to anything is pretty much instant fun. But for the game itself, I liked it because you already going in knew you were going to be a little gonzo with it. And so that kind of
That's an understatement, right? Yeah.
And it's asking you to be an animal lawyer. And so it was kind of interesting having people come up with like name animal and just seeing where their brain went.
Well, I mean, the names were not just blank animal. I mean, we did cool names like Sea-Dracula, as I recall.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when they had to choose.
Oh, I see. You have to come up with a name and your animal. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause twice me and someone else picked the same animal. Because the first time I changed it, cause I heard someone else announce theirs and I'm like, shit, I picked that already. Right. And then someone picked the other one I had. I was like, fuck it, we just got 2 of them now.
It was chameleons, right? We had 2 chameleons. Yeah. I was a sweaty stingray named Matthew McConaughey. So just want to throw that out there. Thanks. It was great. So it's really cool. I don't really know what to say about it except that we just had a lot of freaking fun. I mean, we posted some videos on the G Plus page. So if people want to see like some of the videos of testimony being given, and that kind of thing, or reading the Sea-Dracula oath, go watch those videos. It's pretty cool. Dan, what are your thoughts on Sea-Dracula?
So I liked it, but I think that it's something that I probably would have been kind of terrified of not that long ago because it's not very like interactive Because a lot of it is like you're going up there and presenting evidence, and so like everybody's just watching you
You're on stage.
as you give this performance and like present your stupid evidence and show how it like ties into your stupid theory.
Your stupid theory, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? Everyone did great, though.
Oh, yeah, everybody nailed it.
Yeah, everyone nailed it. I don't think I've ever been more proud of the gauntlet than I was when we did Sea-Dracula, because it was like everyone just like totally dived into it and hit it. Ferrell came like dressed as a lawyer,
Right.
which I special mention there. It was terrific. It was just so good. And a nice reprieve from the sort of more like, I don't know, like serious role playing we do.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we didn't explore any heavy issues during Sea-Dracula.
No,
but
not so much. Not so much.
Sea-Dracula was very much definitely a party game for people who know and, to use the term, trust each other. It's a game where everyone cut loose, everyone was silly and had fun, and no one was worried about someone going, ha ha, you're a nerd.
Yeah, trust is a big issue there, right? I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, you can't like break that game out in front of a bunch of people who are like, you know, not into this hobby, right?
Right.
Like you just can't.
You don't take it to the family reunion.
You do not. No, this is a game where everybody has to trust each other. And I would like to play it rules as written. I'd like to play it with the dance offs at some point. Honestly, the only person in the room who didn't want to do the dance offs was Dan. Let's just throw that out there. Dan, you should go ahead and fess up to that. The fact that you were the only person out of all 10 or 11 of us or however many there were who did not want to do the dance offs. I don't know.
I felt like the dance off, like rules as written, were a little bit, like harsh in that you're not allowed to even do things like get up and go to the bathroom unless you can successfully do a random dance that somebody names. So, and like my vocabulary of dance moves is fairly limited. So I was just anticipating this being a nightmare. So yes, like maybe it was my fault, but I feel like substituting Joust was perfectly functional.
It was functional. It was
because
good.
Honestly, like the joust part, and I think if you did the dances, like the dancing part would probably be the least interesting part.
I disagree. I think the dancing stuff would have been terrific. I think it would have been a lot more engaging than JS Joust ended up being, just because you don't stop being on stage, right? Does that make sense? Like, because during the dance-offs, you're still performing, right? And so you still got to like go after it. Whereas in JS Joust, you get to kind of like be somewhat, you know, like
Casual.
well, and just like you can kind of blend in with the rest of the people playing JS Joust, you know, it's not, I don't know.
I guess so. I don't know.
The performative aspects of it go away, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
I will say we did have our JS Joust arena, which everyone was watching.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, I guess what I'm saying is like, I mean, to me, you know, I love JS Joust. We've played it before as a group, like just playing JS Joust, not mashed up with any other game. And it's terrific fun. I was very surprised by how little it added to this experience though. Like the courtroom stuff with Sea-Dracula, like was far, far more entertaining. And, so I have to imagine the dance offs would just further like maintain that energy and keep it going. But I kind of take your point generally, Dan, that the courtroom stuff is really cool in that game.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So,
and I do have to give it a special mention. It did get someone who doesn't normally come out to play games to join us.
well, so, he's talking about my boyfriend, Rich. Here's the thing. That was a contractual obligation by Rich. We have laid down some ground rules about things we expect of each other. And one of the things that I insist on now is that he attend at least 2 gauntlet things per month.
Wow.
And so he did his homework. He read the rules for Sea-Dracula beforehand. He's like, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm reading the rules for this game. I'm like, oh, what do you think so far? He's like, I don't know. I feel like I could have made this up like in college when I was totally baked. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. And, but no, he did. Yeah, he did a good job. I was very, very proud of him.
And now that I know it's a contractual obligation, I have to give you both points for LARPing before the game started.
Oh, yes, you're right. We were already engaging in the law, maybe not animal law, but in the law. Well, so Sea-Dracula was awesome. And I think that wraps up our games, correct?
Yep.
Cool. All right, let's go to the next segment. All right, so our next segment is called Giving Me Life. I think I'm going to start because I think mine's dumbest. So I don't want to end the segment on mine.
Way to sell it, Jason.
That's what I do. I'm all about setting expectations, people. That's my job. The thing that's giving me life is sort of rediscovering my Kickstarters. So a thing that I do, I kickstart tons of stuff. I kickstart like it does not take much to get a little bit of my money, right? Like if you're going to kickstart something RPG world, you've got at least 25 of my bucks. Okay. Like I kickstart like everything. So the thing is though, like I kickstart it and then I just like let it go. Like I don't think about it, like I just ignore, I like automatically delete.
You don't follow all of the updates.
I do not. Yeah. I automatically delete every email that like about updates. Like I literally don't read any of them. Like I just swipe away.
That's like the whole point of Kickstarter.
Honestly, you're not missing much on those emails. It's like, so we're now in this phase of development. It's like, don't care. Tell me when it's done.
Well, I mean,
No,
I don't want to have that attitude, but I think what it is I'm just so freaking busy and like I kickstart a lot. And so when I've got like every morning, I've got like 50 or 75 emails like staring me down in the face. I really just I don't want to plow through a bunch of Kickstarter ones also. Right. So that's a big part of it. Now, obviously there are like certain select games that I will like follow, very, very closely because I'm interested in them, like particularly interested in those, right? Like John Harper's new one, which is making a ton of money, by the way. That thing is like gangbusters, doing great.
Is that the Blade one?
The Blades in the Dark. Yeah. Yeah. As of like a little bit ago, he's up to like 45,000, which is really, which is tremendous. Yeah. For a PVTA hack.
What was
right?
the target?
Like 5 or something. Okay, yeah. So he's doing really, and it's only like 2 days in, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So that's doing great. And I'm paying attention to that one because I'm really excited about that game. Same thing with like, with some in the past, like, there's certain ones I've followed really closely because I'm really, really, really interested in those games. But in general, I let a bunch of them kind of just like slide off my radar, right? I just assume that someday it's like Christmas. Like I just show up one day and a FedEx came with a book, right?
Sure.
Like, oh,
yeah.
Cool. Awesome. That's great. But I've been having fun, the past few days because, my job is kind of focused around the school semester and we're in spring break right now. So have had some fun kind of going back and like looking at all these old Kickstarter like updates and messages and discovering like, oh man, I've got like playtest PDFs waiting on me and I've got like, this free thing or that free thing. That's awesome. So, I'm kind of downloading all that and doing all that. So
you
it's
can
fun.
give your valuable feedback like 6 months too
Right.
late.
Yeah, I know. Well, okay, whatever. I mean, I never mind. I was about to say we do finished products here on the Gauntlet. That's not true. We just talked about Black Stars Rise. So, no, I don't know. I mean, I guess, there's a certain part of me that's just like, oh, this is so cool. I really want to support this and help this guy out. This looks really awesome. But then I kind of like, they got what they need out of me, right? So
yeah,
that's kind of the important thing. So it's been kind of fun, like just kind of going back and rediscovering my Kickstarters. So I do that periodically. So. That's it. Ferrell.
I guess I'm just more selective about my Kickstarters because I think like everyone I follow, like I read all the updates and all that. I don't know. Like to me, that's the whole point of it. To get like the behind the scenes peek at like how things are going and all of that.
See, I do Kickstarters the way you do podcasts.
That's true, I guess.
So Dan follows like 100 podcasts
right,
or something.
I'm subscribed to like 60 podcasts,
right,
but I listen to 3 regularly.
Right, yeah. See, I'm subscribed to 12 and
not even ours. I don't even listen to ours.
Wow. So the secret's revealed.
Like the first 3 weeks I did, and then I was like, I'm sure it's fine.
Well, so like I follow about 12 podcasts and I'm up to date on all of them, right? Like, so, yeah. So Ferrell, what's giving you life?
I've actually got 2 pieces. Monster Hunter 4 I've been playing, and me and, half the country at this point, probably.
And most of the Gauntlet. Just throw that out there.
Yeah. We've been trying to arrange a little time we can all get together and start hunting the monsters together.
The monsters.
So that's why people are stopping, like showing up on certain days.
I know. We've had a drop in attendance.
I'm sorry I had to drop the terrible secret on you all, but
Lent.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure it's Lent. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Monster Hunter's the new
picked
religion.
up monster hunting for Lent.
Exactly. You and your whole, can I just say, you and your whole monster hunting generation. Okay. I feel like there's a certain, I think Gen Y or what's the name of your generation? I don't know, but it should be called Gen Pokemon because I feel like there's a whole like group of people who are just a little bit younger than me who all they care about is finding monsters and catching monsters and hunting monsters. Well, that's just great.
Well, it kind of goes back to the Pathfinder card game with you. It's that checking the boxes off and, okay, I've got 150 out of 151 and, oh no, now there's 100 more I gotta go collect. I gotta make sure I got a full set.
I don't know. All you monster hunting weirdos need to get off my lawn. That's all I know.
Yeah. And of course, the best part, all the armors look awesome. So now you kill all the different monsters and collect their body parts so I can get all those armor sets.
Oh boy, what a world. All right. Well, okay, that's great, Ferrell. I'm glad it's giving you life. What else besides, is there anything else you want to say about Monster Hunter?
No, I've just been enjoying it. It's nice. I can pick it up, do a mission or two, put it back down, and go back to my busy life until later.
Cool.
The other thing I've been doing is I've been watching a Let's Play of a Telltale game called The Wolf Among Us. Just a quick, bit about it. The Wolf Among Us is based upon the Fable series of comics. Basically all these fairy tale creatures have gotten chased out of their land and now they're living in New York, having to deal with real life. And I've been enjoying it. It's been a fun game. The person doing it has been very interesting. But the best part, the part that's been giving me life, is he's been releasing these little bonus segments that go into the myths and the fairy tales that we're talking about.
This is the Let's Play of it, right?
Yes.
The Let's Play, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's been going over it, and apparently there is an entire branch of science/art that's devoted to cataloging these myths, looking into where they've come from, the historical ideas and purposes of them, et cetera, et cetera. So they were talking about the Snow White myth, of course. And they were talking about how the reason it resonates, the reason so many cultures have this mythology of, the girl who is abused and then becomes the queen and is able to rise above these, is because women, unfortunately, until very recent history, were pretty much treated terribly, abused, fathers and what would take advantage of them, et cetera, et cetera. And so this was something that culturally resonated, and it was kind of a tale of get through all this. It will get better. There is a hope. And so I've been finding that really interesting because you've been going through the science history side of it. It's really hard to say, but I've actually bought one or two of the books he's mentioned on there because I'm really curious. I'm waiting for Amazon to deliver them so I can start reading them and get a little bit more of the science behind all this.
So you can do that and then go hunt monsters. So
yep.
It's great. Yeah.
It's perfect life.
You're a well-rounded person, Ferrell. I like that. Yeah. You can have your heavy, serious stuff, but you can also go collect them all. So that's great. Cool. Dan, what's been giving you life?
Okay. So, what's been giving me life this week was my wife was out of town, and things around my house tend to get weird when she leaves. There's no one to keep my weird impulses in check. So, I was once a long time ago in a grad student in cognitive science. And so I read a lot of papers on brain shit. And so one of the things that's talked about a lot is, it's called the Ganzfeld effect. And so what it is whenever you kind of starve yourself of sensory input, and then your brain just sort of turns the gain control way up to try and say hey, something should be happening here. And so you basically just start hallucinating.
And this is kind of like what happens with a sensory deprivation chamber.
Exactly. Correct? Yeah. And so, not actually owning a sensory deprivation chamber, I decided to sort of try and improvise and see if I could make this happen. Cause for years I've wanted to do it and just never, I'm also very lazy. So, it was always just one of those things where I was like, well, I'll do this one day. It'll be cool. But, I realized that I have an Oculus Rift. And so, the way they tell you to do it is you cut a ping pong ball in half and you put half a ping pong ball over each eye, and then you put them you tape them to your face, and then you stare into a red light.
You are not lying about things getting weird when April's out of town.
No, I'm not. No, things get weird. So anyway, I didn't have ping pong balls, but I was I have an Oculus Rift. So I just made the screen go red and just stared into the Rift for an hour in complete darkness, just laying there staring into this Rift. Did not hallucinate, because you can kind of see the pixels. It's kind of like looking at a cell phone through a magnifying glass or something. You can see the pixels on the Rift. So I think that was screwing me up. So then I was not done. I went to the store and bought ping pong balls.
Okay, very good.
Fashioned this weird balaclava that I could put over my face with the ping pong balls there. And then took the lenses out of the Rift and used that to project the red light into my face through these ping pong balls. Yeah. Still didn't work. So the quest is not over yet.
Oh, so you have not hallucinated yet?
I have not hallucinated yet. No, things get a little weird, and shadows start doing weird things on the edges of your vision, but no full-blown hallucinations. But I think I just didn't do it long enough. So
I would like to suggest acid.
Yeah, I'm a little old for that these days.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
This does remind me a couple of creepypastas I've read, though. I might forward them to you. And I think this says a lot. I mean, it's I'm looking at it, man, that's really interesting. Next time you do it, let me know. I may join in.
I need to make creepypastas that giving me life one time. Man, oh man. I went through a phase where that's all I did was I just read those constantly.
I actually have an acquaintance of mine who she does YouTube narration, Miss Shadow Lovely. She does narration of creepypastas, and she's very good at it.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, I think that's it for the segment.
Sounds good.
Let's go on to our topic. So for our main topic today, we wanted to discuss the idea of secrets in role-playing games. And now what I mean by secrets is there are in-fiction secrets that the characters have, but those secrets are also at the table secrets as well. So I'm making a real clear distinction here. I do not mean the situation where the characters have secrets, but everyone at the table knows what they are. This is the characters have secrets, and we don't know what they are at the table either. Only the player of the character with secrets knows. So just kind of get that out of the way. Here's the thing I don't like, and I'm going to try to avoid being very ranty in this topic because this is something, this is right up there with initiative, all right, for things that I really, really don't like in role-playing games. I've never had a good experience with them. But here's the sort of classic situation that I have personally experienced probably at least a dozen times, which is the GM, this group of people, probably a more traditional-esque game, but the GM is passing notes to players, and the players are passing notes back to the GM, and there's a whole like note passing thing going on, and I'm just sitting there feeling left out of the loop. That doesn't just bother me like, oh, this is not very good for storytelling, or it really makes me angry. Like I really hate it. Like I have a strong negative reaction to that. I don't know why. That might be worth exploring, but I have a very, very strong negative reaction to it. I don't even like it when I'm the GM in a game in which we don't have secrets. I've had this happen fairly recently. One of the players decided to start writing notes and passing it to another player. And that really pissed me off. Like I was really, really angry by it. And
is that when you take it and you're like, maybe we should read this in front of the whole class?
Exactly right. Would you like to stand up at the front of the table and read that out to us? No, I think the reason why it doesn't just bother me, it really pisses me off. I think the reason why is because like it feels like I've got this side entertainment that I'm doing that doesn't involve you, right? We're all here having a conversation, trying to tell a story, but this part of it, I'm not going to share with you. I don't want you to be a part of this. This is just between me and this person over here. I hate that a lot. It really bothers me. So I'm sure you guys don't have as strong a visceral reaction to it as I do, but what are your thoughts on secrets at the table?
For me, I actually enjoy Secrets at the Table, but it has to be in very specific, very frameworked, what is the correct term here? I'm sorry. But I need it in a situation, in a game where secrets are an acknowledged part and everyone knows that
they're part of the rule set.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And the reason is the problem with secrets at the table in a lot of story games is it's a betrayal of everyone at the table. I say it's a betrayal because of this one thing. When you're putting together a story game, you are all telling a cooperative story, and you're all playing with your cards out on the table, basically. You may have a secret, quote unquote, but everyone will know the nature of that secret. Everyone will know that, this is your dark past. In Mountain Witch, everyone has their secret, their secret shame, their secret dishonor. But everyone knows everyone has one, and it's just kind of an accepted part of the game that the characters will act like, I don't know this, and then the secret comes out and gasp, how could you?
That's not rules as written. Let's just throw that out there. And we'll probably get to that. But in the Mountain Witch, and I could be interpreting the rules incorrectly, it was a little ambiguous, but I think in the Mountain Witch, the characters have in-fiction secrets, and they are secrets at the table until they are revealed expressly by the players. I could be wrong about that, but we should talk about that. I see where you're going with it, and I think we should talk about that. Okay, so I think there's two different things going on here. The scenario that I like described in the beginning, the one that pisses me off, is the one where it's just like the GM passing notes back and forth and players passing notes to each other and someone probably being left out of that, right? That's a thing. But then there's also story games that have secrets as part of their actual mechanics, and I don't think I like that either. Like, I don't think I like that either. And I think the reason why I don't like it is because when a player at the table in an exercise that is like naturally collaborative and depends on like everyone like kind of riffing off of each other and like coming up with the best possible story outcome, when you have a bit of like secret information that is probably really critical to your character and that card's not laid out on the table, no one knows what it is. No one can help you make your character's story all it can be, right? And that's my thought on it. Dan?
That's pretty much what I was going to say. I don't even know if I have anything to add to that, honestly. Like, I think that's definitely the main problem as I see it. Just by having a secret, at some point, you're going to like yank the story in a different direction. And it's going to be weird because nobody can like see it coming. Nobody can like help you foreshadow it or anything. So, I think it's just naturally a little more jarring in that case than it would be if just like all secrets were open.
Right. Just the idea of like you as a player have knowledge that is about your character. It's a specific piece of knowledge about your character that no one else knows. I am not sure that works in any context. Right. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
So what do you think the motivation is for keeping secrets like that? I can see like two arguments for it, right? One is, it'll be more effective if it's a surprise for everybody, right? So like, I guess, your character is going to be just as surprised as you are.
The big reveal,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
So I can see that, or like, I don't know. do you not trust the players to not use meta knowledge?
Right.
In
Okay.
their
That's what I
gaming?
thought you were getting at. Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's the thing, right? I mean, I think back to your question of like, what's the motivations like? When you say, like, why would we have that? Like, why would a game designer put it in there? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or why would a GM run a game
in which
with
there are secrets? Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I think it's because they played a board game one time that had secrets in it. And so they want to transfer that over to a role-playing game context. That's what I think. But, and there could also be the big reveal, right? Like, oh, it's going to have this big impactful reveal. It never works. I hate to make blanket statements like that. It almost never works. In Annalise, it got pretty close to working, I think.
Okay.
But in general, I don't think it works very well. Because here's the thing. If you don't know if you don't know what the secret information is as a player, how can you build towards that big reveal? Like, how can the other players help you build towards that big reveal? It's just going to feel like some rando thing you airdropped in.
Right.
Right. Because no one else has been privy to it. And so the story feels disjointed from it. Like it doesn't even, it always comes off as a little artificial, in my opinion. So, except we played a game of Annalise where I think that was maybe not the case. I'm not sure what the difference was there, but
I know for that game of Annalise, I was involved with it.
Right.
And one of the things is, before we even started, we sat down, we had the tone conversation. We basically discussed what was okay, what was not okay to have as a secret. And the way I view secrets as being okay in a game is, to use an example of like if you're laying out a board game, it's you lay out this game and you can see, these stacks and here are your cards and everything. And then you have this one square. Now, there's nothing in it right now, but there's going to be something there later. So everyone's aware that there will be a secret, that there is a thing there, and they can even look from, the context what it might be, but they don't know what it is exactly. Now, the way secrets normally get used is you're playing chess with someone and suddenly they whip off, half, and they uncover half the board and they've got 7 queens on there. It's like, wait, what the hell is this?
What version of chess are you playing? I don't think
it's a high level version of chess that,
this is like Star Trek chess. Like, I don't understand this analogy at all, Ferrell. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, but it's basically one is everyone's aware of a secret. The other one is suddenly no one knew that this set piece even existed. And then it goes back into like what you all were saying. It's suddenly a random thing. What the hell
feels
is
random,
this?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, so our friend Steve, who sometimes co-hosts the show, he brings up the point about Annalise having that problem, right? This was not my experience with Annalise, but he says in Annalise, that's a game where the characters have secrets about themselves. At the beginning, you determine that in the beginning. It is not revealed until the very end. Like the very, very end is when you reveal the secret, right? And we're supposed to all like marvel at how like, oh yeah, like cool. Like I see why you're playing your character that way. It all makes sense now, right? Mm-hmm. Now we had a good experience with it, and I think you're right. The reason why it worked for us is because we had a conversation beforehand about like the range of types of things we wanted those secrets to encompass, right?
Yeah.
But Steve's problem with Annalise is whenever he's played Annalise, you can sometimes have a secret that feels really bonkers, right? like it's a bonkers secret that does not fit the tone or the story that like anybody had in mind, right? Yeah. And so, I think maybe like, just like anything, like having that conversation beforehand can maybe help keep that in check. I'm not sure Annalise needs the secrets though.
I didn't play Annalise, but do you think that the fact that it comes at the very end is better? Because then like maybe you yank the story in a direction that like other people weren't expecting, but they don't then have to adjust their storytelling to you, right? If the game's just over.
Right. I don't know. In our game of Annalise, it felt like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like the things you were doing make sense now. Like the way when you did this thing back, we played 3 sessions of it, right? Mm-hmm. For one story. And it kind of felt like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I see. So it kind of had the desired effect, I guess, in Annalise, to Annalise's credit. But I think that could have been, I don't know, like, in the rule book, the Annalise rule book, like that Steve likes to talk about, they mention one person's secret might be like they have secret eye laser beams, right? and if it's a secret that they've kept to themselves and no one else at the table anticipated that this is going to be a game where secret eye laser beams were a thing, if you just suddenly start having secret eye laser beams in an otherwise normal setting, that's going to be really weird, and you can't explain it until the very end when you reveal the secret, right? It's like, oh, the reason why I suddenly had rando weird eye beams is because it was my secret, so I think we avoided that problem, Ferrell, because we had a very, very explicit discussion about tone and about the story we wanted to tell and kind of the direction we wanted our characters to go. And so the secrets felt a little bit more like appropriate, and they didn't affect gameplay. Like, for whatever reason, they did not have like a negative effect on the story. They shaded the story, I think, but that was it.
And that might be part of it. Quite often, the stories I hear about secrets, they're very much something, a lot of them I hear from trad gaming, D&D and whatnot. And it's usually, and suddenly it turned out that so-and-so was a doppelganger and that's why they were evil, which is great when you're telling a story, but at the table, I'm sure everyone in the party was like, what
That's
the hell
random.
is this?
Yeah, how random is that, right?
Yeah. I think we had a really great experience with it, at least because, like what was said, it came up at the very end. It wasn't something that, slam, aha, now I have I-beams. It's, it's a shading thing. It was, this is why my character acted like this, but it was not the central part.
Right. And I think that's why it worked in Annalise. And I didn't read the rules to Annalise. I didn't prep for that game. So I don't know how Annalise actually guides you on this, but our outcome was the right outcome. Like the secret served to sort of shade the narrative a little bit and kind of but it wasn't the end all be all, right? Like it was not the story, and not knowing the secrets had no bearing on the quality of our story. And so, but I don't know if that was just happenstance or if that was Annalise. I'm not sure. I just don't know. So I'm still, until I know for sure, I'm going to say that secrets suck.
Okay.
So that's my feeling on secrets. So I guess let's just throw it out to the community then. This is one of those things where I would love to be proven wrong. This would be a really, really terrific topic, listeners, for you to chime in on Google Plus and tell us why we're wrong. Because I think I want to be proven wrong on this. I really do. I don't think I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah. But let me say that. I don't think I'm wrong, but I would like to be proven wrong on it because I do like the idea of secrets and the big reveals, right?
Right.
I like it conceptually. It's fun in board games. I like the idea of pulling that off in a role-playing game. I'm just not sure it can be done. And so if you have some ideas on that, listeners, please share it with us. If you know of a game that does it really well, please let me know. Maybe we just happen to have not played all the good secret games.
It's possible.
It's possible. There are so many. I don't know. All right, cool. Well, let's just move on to the next thing. So our next segment is listener feedback. So we had feedback from a very special listener this week. So last week we talked about games that we would like to see a second edition made of. And one of those, two of those actually, were Jason Morningstar games. And Jason Morningstar chimed in. I'm not sure if he actually listened to the episode or if he just saw our post, but he revealed to us that he is actually redoing. They're completely overhauling Shovel Harry Roach. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear about that. I have to say I felt kind of crappy about that episode in a little bit, in a small way, just because I really, really love the Shovel Harry Roach and I felt kind of bad just talking about the things I hated about it, or not hate about it, but just, that kind of bugged me because I actually in fact quite love that game, but I'm actually,
but that was the assumption.
I know. Yeah. And I guess I'm just really self-conscious about it.
And it sparked quite a bit of very good discussion on the G+.
Yeah. People were, yeah. So, I mean, I think, so they're redoing Shovel Harry Roach. I think it's awesome. I'm really pumped about that. If he kickstarted that, I'd give him $25. Heck, I'd give him $50. Gosh, I would do it.
Yeah. I feel like that's not saying a whole lot now that I know of your secret dark Kickstarter
true. Yeah,
addiction.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're talking about Jason Morningstar Kickstarters, holy shit. I got my Night Witches in with the cards. Oh, it's so good. Oh my God.
I got my shipping notice today.
It's like mouth-wateringly delicious looking product. I can't wait to dive into it.
I saw the pictures you posted. It's damn it. I need to jump on these things more
often. Oh man, the Night Witches one is so good. So anyway, Jason Morningstar jumped in, told us about Shovel Harry Roach, being overhauled. That was awesome. Even better, or more, kind of a cool thing for us. He gave us permission to redo Danger Mountain, to revise it and release it as a charity game. I have not played Danger Mountain, so I kind of kicked it over to Dan. Dan, how's that going so far?
It's had its ups and downs, I think.
Okay.
Because in the course of a short afternoon, I completely rewrote all of the mechanics. So
just a ground up.
Yeah,
rewrite,
I took all the dice out. There's no dice anymore, and I put cards in instead. And so had this beautiful, complicated engine running this game. And then at some point, I was like, no, this doesn't work at all. This makes no goddamn sense. And so then I got off my high of game design is amazingly easy. And now I'm in the game designing is kind of a lot of work phase. So I kind of trashed everything I'd done and started over again. But, it's going pretty well now, I think. I don't know what I'm doing. So one of the things,
it sounds like he's on step 3 of game design.
I'm so glad Jason Morningstar chose us to let him revise, allowing us to revise Danger Mountain.
I think that I'm just being upfront and saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never designed a game before, but I've played a shitload of games. But my first inclination was I can't do the probabilities, of the cards, right? So, it's really complicated because I'm doing sort of a reverse Final Girl where instead of characters dying, you're rescuing characters. So your character pool is growing through the whole game rather than shrinking.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same vibe that original Danger Mountain has.
Okay.
Right? It's all about rescuing these people who are trapped on Danger Mountain.
Right. Yeah.
So, figuring out how likely people actually are to survive, is it possible for you not to just have everybody die? As was like something that I couldn't figure out. So I ended up like writing a computer program to run through like mechanically the entire game.
I love it. Okay.
And so like I was running, like I was kicking off like, let's play this thing 10,000 times and see like on average how many people survive if everybody just plays like the most like self-preserving game they can.
Right.
To set like a threshold. And then like I can adjust sliders and stuff, and like now they're like a little bit less assholes and see how it changes it. And
I hope Jason Morningstar is listening to this so he can realize how much care and effort you're putting into this danger mountain thing. Yeah, it's awesome. It's
so
cool.
I was thinking I might actually like write a little like development diary as I'm going along, because
that'd be
I think
cool.
some of the stuff I'm doing is interesting. I don't know if it's interesting to people who aren't me, but
no, that'd be cool.
I would read it.
Yeah, I would read that. That'd be pretty awesome.
Watching someone do the developmental process is always pretty interesting. I just like seeing how the mechanics get tweaked and whatnot. It's like, I found out that if you do this thing, everyone dies 100% of the time, and I'm gonna
hey, that was my first version.
You know, the part that I would be interested in knowing about is something you kind of just mentioned a minute ago, which is, you know, we play a lot of games, right? We've played them all, more or less, right? Except for a very good secrets-based game. We play a lot of games, and I often wonder, like, could I design a game? I don't know. I know a lot about games. I know what I like about games. I know what I don't like about games. Does that translate to game design? I don't really know. You know, the closest thing I've gotten in recent memory is that little bad education thing we did, right? Which we've not play tested or even written down for that matter. But I often wonder that. So I'll be curious to see, like, if your experiences at the table translate over to your design effort.
Yeah. Or if I spectacularly crash and burn and this never sees the light of day.
Yeah, see, I've gotten to
that. Too, yeah.
That's step 4 on the developmental process. I've done that with programming stuff, and I got to that 7. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go play more Monster Hunter.
well, there you go. I may be playing Monster Hunter in a week.
That's your lazy monster collecting generation. That's all you do. That's all you do.
Life is hard. Let's hunt monsters.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, so that was kind of a cool thing I just want to throw out there. So that was also our podcast. If you would like to get in touch with us, you should definitely join our Google Plus community. We can be found in the communities section of Google Plus. Just search for The Gauntlet and you will find us. We've had a lot of people join in recent months because of the podcast, and it's really awesome.
People actually talk on there now.
I know. It's not just me, it's not just me holding forth on the internet. No, it's cool. I've had a really good, honestly, one of the most rewarding parts of this whole project, this whole podcast project has been interacting with some of these folks, which is great because, as I've mentioned before, I'm really not deep into the role-playing game community and forums aspect of the hobby. I'm just not. I don't really stretch my wings much in that regard. So it's kind of fun to chit chat with people from other from other areas and from different parts of the country and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And so yeah, you can reach us there. We also have an email address, which don't bother with.
We're getting rid of that too.
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even remember what it is right now.
Put it out there. Some people can't get to G Plus because, they want to hide from the Google overlord that controls us all.
Yeah, okay.
So send some email to Google instead.
Right. So do that instead. Yeah. gauntletpodcast@gmail.com is the email address. And, I think that's going to be it. So thanks so much, Ferrell.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. It's always been a pleasure.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Cool.
Have a good day.